Toby, good to see you on this fine...
Good to see you, David.
What day of the week is this again?
This is a Tuesday.
A Tuesday. So how are things? It is. How did the Tuesday go? Because your Tuesday is ending, my Tuesday is starting.
That's right. Thank God. Every day we get through now is a victory.
Indeed. It's come to that. Every day is a victory.
Every day is a victory.
Well, then let's do our victory Pulp Fiction Jam.
Okay.
So we're just, to remind ourselves, this is a Pulp Fiction Jam where we're going to look at some imagery and try to come up with covers. Now, the last time we did this, we were extremely, we were fingers on fire because we did 8 covers in less than an hour. I didn't plan for that today. I thought that today we could just focus on 4, and that way we can sort of dig a little deeper, plumb the depths of disparity, and get something a little better, a little more polished, perhaps. First, a word from our sponsor, Nicotime Cigarettes, the smooth taste expectant mothers crave. That's to put us in the mood. We're doing Pulp Fiction, so not to take ourselves too seriously, but hopefully we can find something meaningful in this. So in this one, we're going to look at alternatives. I'm going to kind of open up 2 covers at a time. Excuse me. And we're going to see if we use both or one of them or something jolts us. So I'm going to give us a little bit more to work with.
Can I I'm looking at the ones at the very top.
Yeah.
Left, because that's where I ended up navigating to, even though I think I'm meant to be over here now.
You're going to look go to where you can see the good old Nicotime Cigarettes ad.
Got it. Yep. I'm right next to it are the four covers that we're not using.
So I'm going to do these vertical.
And I just said these are for House Dick. I think it's not that we're doing that one, but I'm just going to suggest that for House Dick it should be Moby Dick, but searching for a house. So Captain Ahab is looking for his perfect white house.
Or this could be Silicon Valley entrepreneurs in Napa Valley looking for a winery. They're just got to find the perfect winery to retire at 35. So these Pulp Fiction covers were there for kind of as a learning aid. Basically, we were saying,
got it. I was just throwing that out there.
Well, you're quite right, because we see these every time. I could change them, or we could start to work on these as well. But this is to illustrate what a tagline might look like and what a log line might look like, even though normally it's on the inside cover of the book instead of the outside. But these were for illustrative purposes. And I have set up a little grid here where we're going to do things vertically. We've got 2 covers to look at, and then we're going to sort of discuss titles, discuss taglines and log lines, and see if we can come up with a little triplet there. And we're going to try to do this in under an hour. Let's see, where are we at now? We're at 5 minutes in. Okay, 5 minutes in. All right, so first we're just going to start off discussing sort of what we see for a couple minutes when we look at the first 2. So let me reveal the first one, and just, that's what we have there.
Mm-hmm.
What attracted me to this? Well, I don't know. It's a strange brother. It's just strange. And why is the brother strange? And who is the brother? Could it be the person behind instead of the person in front? Because that brother is a little dubious.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Then
it's very German expressionist, the cover.
Well, yes, maybe he's strange because he's thinking. Is that his hand? I mean, I suppose it is, because there's the bit of the cufflink there, but it could be somebody else's hand.
She might be wearing a suit behind.
Yeah. This is
although it doesn't have nails like her fingers do. So.
And given that this is Strange Brother and there's 2 people on the cover, it sort of makes me think this person has split personalities or something's going on here.
Okay.
Alter ego, voices in their head, and that penetrating look. I mean, it's the eye bullet stare, and then the kind of soft gesture. I don't know. This is the German version of the Geschrei. I'm screaming inside, or something. I don't know. It opens up lots of potential. Then let's look at the other one here. Somehow I thought these 2 went together because there's 2 of them. Strange brother. This could be a relationship of some kind. that is twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's mutual blindness, isn't it?
Oh yes, we don't even have one-eyed man in here.
No. And it's linked inextricably.
Conjoined.
So, yes.
It's like an
Which could be
umbilical cord,
experienced,
isn't it,
could
of
be-
their heads?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were separated. They were Siamese, and they got separated, and something happened to their faces. And why are they out there in the park? I mean, if you saw these characters in the park, you would run for cover.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, they could be the world's most incompetent KKK lynchers.
Dear. Yes,
So there you go, KKK comedy, and they've successfully lynched each other.
Well, we now have had a KKK comedy, haven't we? Was a Black Brotherhood or something, right? So,
yes.
So we have broken that barrier finally.
That's right. Thank
It reminds me of what is the...
So many people wanted that.
Well, remember the joke about, was it Mel Brooks, about what jokes would be, when certain jokes would be appropriate? And, there were certain ones that were so terrible that wouldn't be ready till 2030 or something like that. So
Right.
That one got minted early. All right, so we are going to give ourselves a couple minutes here to consider a title. Let's give ourselves 2 minutes. Let's start the timer. And what do we think here? We got a title, Strange Brother, but I think is there something about brotherhood? That could work for the second one, because they are wearing hoods of sorts. So maybe I'll put that in there, brotherhood. I
mean, Conjoined was also a pretty good title.
Okay, Conjoined. What is the relationship? I mean, Conjoined is the relationship, and brotherhood could be the relationship, but what is the... It's sort of... It looks like a kind of torment. The top one is like a tormented, and then the bottom one is sort of like we can't separate. We're stuck together forever in some... something we can't get rid of.
Yes. I mean, the bottom one looks... It could be brothers, obviously, but one is obviously older than the other. It's certainly how it seems. I mean, certainly they're taller.
Stunted. The older one, the taller one, stunted the growth of the younger one. Maybe that's also like the upper image being held back, right? Somebody looks like they want to get ahead in the world, but they're being held back, or their emotions are in check.
I mean, umbilical. I like that too.
Umbilical. Okay. Umbilical.
Because again, you can babies can be strangled by the umbilical and need to be freed from it. So it's
yeah. Okay, so how about
there's a double-edged thing to that.
Okay, we didn't quite get that in there, but I'm gonna put that as a strangle. That sounds like an interesting thing to pursue. Okay, so we've given ourselves a couple minutes for titles. Let's go to taglines. So let me just... I don't know. Well, I'll make a copy of both of them. It's just that I like to sort of see them as we're working, and sometimes with this screen they go scrolling off. Okay, so of these titles, okay, I think these three here... Oops, I don't need Stairs That Kill. I kind of over-egged that one. Let's go with this one. Nope. Oh, well, it insists on doing all of that nonsense. All right, so I'm going to bring these down here as for conversational purposes, and we are going to give ourselves, 3 minutes.
But that's good. I think that's important. I think you need to be able to bring that stuff down, because you want to be able to see it all in the same place.
Yeah, I don't like moving all over the shop. I can't
So what it should do is fill in the subsequent bits, and there should be gaps in each of the subsequent stages where it shows you what you came up with from the previous ones.
I agree. All right, developers.
Okay. Yep.
That's a note to self, to you as well. All right,
Okay.
3 minutes. So, making sure that we're all recording. Conjoined brotherhood umbilical. Strangle. Taglines.
All right. So I mean, if they're stuck together, death is the only release. Tied to the one you love or hate.
Okay.
To be free is to die.
I was also wondering about. I want to go back to that umbilical strangle. Let's see. Me, myself, and I. That's already been done. Let's see. What could we? Until death do us part. Sorry, I put that in there, but you said something else. Until death do us part.
I mean, it's the idea that, and again with the strange brother, that you're connected to someone you that you don't understand, despite the closeness of the connection. They are opaque to you. They're still a mystery. And I don't know how to put that. It's all right, cat.
I've tried this one. Right. Oh, cat. Thank you. Yeah. Well, the cat is important because he helps us. He gives us comic relief.
He does. He eggs us on, doesn't he?
I'm trying to think of time and forever mysterious, once known, never.
You're right.
Never known, never knowingly known.
There you go. Right, he's sitting on my pen now. So who is tied? Have they tied that to each other? So is it an unhealthy relationship that is mutual? So bonded by
tie the knot.
Fear.
Bonded by fear. Okay.
Bonded by hate. So it could be a horror film about two brothers, the second of whom or sister is pulled into the first brother's cycle of revenge or murder. My brother was a serial killer.
So I'm thinking about
a serial killer.
So I'm thinking about something like released from something bonded by hate. Ooh, timer went off. Could there be something in that? Released from prison, bonded by hate. Released from. Not responsibility. Released from.
I should stop using cat food.
Free from society, bonded by hate. I'm just going to go with that for the moment.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's imperfect, but if I could bring this to the front, if it would just automatically realize it's meant to go over the other thing, that would be nice. So let's say it's brotherhood for the moment.
Okay.
I do wish I could figure out the umbilical, but that might come into play.
But I think
down the line,
I think that could just be that it's either a parent or child who's uncovering something about parent or child based on the relationship, or siblings. Could be twins. And I'm wondering, in my stupid way, if one twin isn't a serial killer and the other one finds out about it and then has the choice of either exposing them or joining them.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting... And I mean, even if it's not as horrible as serial killer, it's something that they do that is antisocial and severe enough that you...
Collect stamps?
You're sort of like, extreme stamps collecting. He kills people for stamps.
There you go.
He takes it really seriously.
Really seriously.
All right, so 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Lethal philately. All right.
What is that? What is the term?
Philately.
How do you spell that?
Pilately.
Why do you know that?
Because there is a post office off Trafalgar Square that is the philatelic center. It's where it's one of the places where they release the first day stamps, and it's big queues for people to go there because they open up early or whatever. But that's how I know it.
Wow. All right. So
then I had to look it up because I didn't know what philately was.
So the strange brother is a philately obsessive.
He's not, but that was he's no. Let's go with serial killer,
Okay.
and if you wanna steer back from that, it's just serial killer cell, right? So let's do that. Serial killer, and what would you do if you found out your closest person who you share 99% of DNA with is a horrible killer? And what if you don't go to the police? Do you try and find out if you have that same instinct yourself? And what if that person becomes an even worse killer than the first brother?
So that's an interesting dramatic question. Yeah, what would you do if your twin brother was a serial killer?
What would you do if you discovered your twin brother was a serial killer?
Yeah.
Or twin sister. Your twin was a serial killer.
Yeah. I actually sort of wonder if, I'm thinking of a terrible kind of backstory here where, let's say, these two have horrible parents or foster parents, and one of them releases them by killing them. And it's sort of like the secret that they both know but have kept to themselves. And then, unfortunately, the one who sort of did the deed sort of has a taste for it, and he finds out later he can't stop. But this is something that was seeded long ago in that incident, and now is blossoming. That's a very dark thought. But and then there's philately.
There's not any philately.
I just think it's really funny if one is a stamp collector and the other is collects something else. It's really morbid. And they say, you collect heads on paper, I collect heads.
Oh my God, it's right. It's the right spelling. I got it.
Oh,
amazing.
Well done. All right,
study of postage stamps and postal history.
Okay, so let's see.
I didn't know that.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with something like sharing the
nightmare.
Let's see. Sharing the nightmare of a foster. Let's see. After sharing the secret of killing their foster parents, they attempt to lead normal lives, but one has developed a taste for death, and the other has developed a taste for philately. All right. Well, we've got 51 seconds. I don't know. I like this dramatic question. This is.
I mean, but it could be the same thing. If one of them killed the foster parents and the other one finds out about it, and in fact, that maybe they've killed more than just the foster parents, but that was the start. Then there's an interesting story there.
Okay. Let's see. So this is after the death. It's one of them who did it. They're horrible. They're abusive. but a terrible secret is uncovered when it is revealed. Well, a terrible secret is uncovered. Okay, I'll leave it at that because we could fuss around all day with the wordings, but I think this is kind of what we have here. Oops, come to the front for once. Stop going in the background. All right, so what we have here is brotherhood, and the sort of tagline is, what would you do if you discovered your twin was a serial killer? Okay, it's a dramatic question used as a tagline. And then we have this sort of log line: after the death of their abusive foster parents, the twins attempt to lead normal lives, but a terrible secret is uncovered, which we're kind of massaged into this idea that one of the twins did the parents in and saved them, and now has developed a taste for blood.
Yes.
And the other one has to deal, what do I do about this? Because his entire second life, as it were, is due to his brothers or sisters, whatever the twins are, that what his decision back then.
Yes.
All right, so
yes.
Let me just fill that in. It's going to take a moment. Sorry about this. Brotherhood. Brotherhood. Tagline. I don't have to recreate the wheel. I wish this text editor was a little kinder. Whoop. And then finally, this is our log line. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go to the next one. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just sort of talking about what we see. Here is the first one.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know why.
This is Beckett's only film. Yes.
I knew you came in handy.
Occasionally,
to make sense of the strange. All right, so, Eyes on You.
Okay. So that's Buster Keaton in the middle.
Surveillance. Okay.
But
he looks like he's standing in a house of mirrors or on the precipice.
Being stared at from all angles.
Yes, the object of ridicule, or the object of the man of the hour.
And he obviously is dressed as a sort of an everyman. He looks a little dated in dress.
Well, he's got that boater on. It's sort of an odd combination. Yes. The double-breasted trench coat or something, and the boater. This is like a cross between an undertaker and a gondola.
Yes,
ferryman, a gondolier or something. Yeah. So maybe he's the ferryman, takes you from one world to the next.
Interesting. Okay. I like it.
Okay. Our next image is this.
Duh. Who takes these pictures?
I don't know. And what's going on with their arm? Oh, I see. Their thing is, yeah. Well, this to me is sort of isolation, or I don't know, for some reason the word gaslighting comes to mind, but that's got to be the gas mask, and then because of what we're going through politically. But this child is in the corner. It's sort of, in this one there's all eyes on, and this one is sort of relegated to the corner and hidden, and there's something interesting about that juxtaposition. They're both isolated in a way, both alone, it seems, even though one is under scrutiny and the other is relegated to the corner and hidden. It's sort of like Secrets and something like that. All right, let's give ourselves 2 minutes to maybe think of a title for this.
Okay.
Well, I the first one I'm going to go to. Oops, I got all these from the past. I'm just going to put that over there. Is Ferryman. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
And breathe.
Breathe. Trying to think of that feeling. I can remember as a young child being put in the corner sometimes, not with the dunce cap, but being told to face the wall, and that was a sort of a shaming tactic because I'd spoken up in class or something. I had asserted myself, and that was not the thing to do in a British school at that age, was to be seen but not heard.
Right.
So it's sort of like ashamed or something of that nature.
Yeah. But yes, I mean, but usually you were told to face towards the wall. So you could also be backed into a wall because you're backing away from something.
I mean,
possibly it's the ferryman coming to collect this person.
Okay. Time to collect. There we go. Time to collect. All right, so let's try going with time to collect, I guess. Unless we come up with something better in the next bit.
All right, so the sort of slightly timeless figure who's being watched by everyone is the Grim Reaper coming to collect this girl.
Okay.
And he has doubts about it, but the powers that be that are watching him are forcing him to go through with it.
Okay. So let's go down to taglines.
So if it was nice, this could end up being a child's version of Inferno or the Divine Comedy. Or we could turn it into what was that wonderful the Heavenly Lawsuit, British film, David Niven.
Is this a
Matter of Life and Death?
Yeah,
Matter of Life and Death.
Matter of Life and
Death. So turn to that, where he's able to defend that she should go back to Earth. That the means by which she was apparently killed were unfair or unjust.
Okay,
so he risks everything standing up to the cosmic forces that compel death to do his thing, or the Grim Reaper, or the Ferryman.
So it's under the watchful eyes. Let's see. So the tagline is something about
death is the beginning.
Okay.
Death. Every death starts with a single step. Who thought that dying was meant to be easy? Isn't that's the saying? I've heard this. I've heard the saying attributed to everyone from Harold Lloyd to any sort of W.C. Fields to the Emperor Trajan, I believe, where someone asks you, dying, my lord, is it difficult? And the figure, whoever it is of these parents, goes, dying is easy, comedy is hard. Which is why I find it unlikely that it's a Roman emperor who said that.
Yeah,
but,
that sounds to me like a Hollywood. Okay.
Yes.
Dying is easy, comedy. How about this? The comedy of life is hard. So that's sort of a.
I mean, I see it going a couple of ways. It could either be straight out horror. It could be sort of a children's adventure into the afterlife, where they're meeting all the weird stuff that happens. It could be a kid deliberately, this is horrible, but let's imagine that the kid is wearing the gas mask to suffocate themselves because a parent has died and they want to go after them and find them and bring them back.
I see.
And the ferryman shows up for the kid who's died, finds out the reason why the kid has done it, and then has to, because it's the order of things, has to take the kid through the journey, but by the end of it has realized that they can stand up for themselves against these other things and says, no, this child has to go back.
Well, the kid has life-threatening asthma.
But the kid is able to say one final thing to a parent that needed saying.
Okay, that's it's kind of morbid but
it's very
tender.
dark.
This
it's
is
horrible.
This is
it's
Ghost
horrible.
with children and all this. I was thinking of another version actually, which was sort of like a kind of a weird twist on Time Bandits. Remember, where they can kind of jump through time? So we have some situation where the ferryman sort of has this crossover capability, but maybe so does the child. The child keeps hiding from them, and they're supposed to take the child for whatever reason. This child is extremely good at hide and seek in a sort of cosmic sense. That's why I wrote down the cosmic game of hide and seek. They can kind of keep.
So it could be that the death is meant to be invisible, but this child can see him.
Right.
So death has always been alone because death is invisible. And then this one child sees death and befriends death. But because she's seen him, he has to take her with him because he doesn't know what to do. So he's looking for orders.
So death is under scrutiny in a way.
Yes. Yeah, death is a part of whatever the bureaucracy is that the afterlife is. So it would be almost a Kafkaesque vision of the afterlife where there are zillions of filing cabinets and things like this, and they go searching for her file and it's not there because she's not dead. So why have you brought someone here who's not dead? Well, she saw me, but she can't see you. It's impossible. I know. That's why I brought her along.
All right, we're going to work through that in the next one, but we need to choose. So far I think Time to Collect still works. What is our tagline? We've got a bunch of choices here. Oh, these are not taglines. That's not a tagline. What we have is death is just the beginning. Death is under scrutiny. A cosmic game of hide and seek. Who thought dying was meant to be easy? Dying is the easy. The comedy of life is hard. And death is unbecoming or something. Let's see. So what do we think? I think death is just the beginning. I don't know. That feels a little... Well, death is under scrutiny is not a tagline, but it's an interesting idea. Let's see. Who thought dying was meant to be easy?
So is it run like a company? Is it Death Inc.? Is it...
I mean, this is kind of a funny couplet in a way. Time to Collect, death is unbecoming, because he sort of is a play on the travel theme.
Right.
I kind of like the idea of cosmic hide and seek being used in the log line, maybe. I don't know. I'm sort of landing on these two. What do you think? These two here.
Yep. Either of those.
All right. Let's take those further. Do. Okay, so we're gonna put this to one side. We got a lot of.
No, I've got it.
What is it?
The Grim Reapers got an intern.
Okay. So the Grim Reaper's intern.
Right. So she's now, because she's seen him, he's now got her. So they're like, well, she's now your intern.
And she has different thoughts about how.
Yeah, absolutely. How he should be nicer about it, how he does things, how he he's very brusque because he expects that's how he's supposed to behave, and she's like, no, you can do this gently. You can be nice.
All right, so let's give ourselves 5 minutes for this, and let's build on that. So we've sort of got Time to Collect. Death is unbecoming. Death is just the beginning, and we have something about the Grim Reaper's intern. So how does she become the Grim Reaper's intern? She can see the Grim Reaper.
Yes. Now, how can she? I don't know. Do we need to? Is that part of the mystery of the thing? Is how? I mean, how is the Grim Reaper appointed?
Let's say a child that
is she
survived.
Caught between the two worlds? So she's neither dead nor alive. So maybe she's in a coma. And part of his thing is he's got to tell her. He's got to reveal to her about that. And does she want to wake up? Does she not want to wake up? She's caught between life and death.
Okay, a comatose
and it could
child.
either be, if you want to do a more of a more Kafkaesque thing, it would be that the paperwork has been lost, and she's somehow slipped between the cracks, and so now death can't deliver her anywhere because there's no paper trail. So she travels along with him now.
So I got this sort of a comatose child caught between life and death becomes a Grim Reaper's intern until they can find her file. It's a little bit messy, but it's sort of this. I
mean, that's one possible thing.
Yeah.
I quite like it. It's quite sweet, actually.
Yeah, and it's sort of you know what it is? It's sort of like it's like,
or maybe she's an orphan, so there are no parents for her to go back to.
Well, this is this is Leon the professional, right? This is Leon the professional, but Leon is the Grim Reaper. So we have this Grim Reaper ends up with this child that I guess the child wants to just become, take their place, be their intern, and they're like, well, no, you really need to find you a proper place in life. And they've already committed to the situation, so they can't really shake them.
No, and obviously it becomes about the Grim Reaper and this girl getting to know each other and becoming friends. And softening, because nobody wants to hang out with the Grim Reaper for obvious reasons.
What's the Bergman film?
And he only meets people when they're about to die. Seventh Seal.
Okay, so it's Seventh Seal. This is... meets Brazil. This is Leon the professional meets Seventh Seal meets Brazil. All right, so that's also part of the, I guess, that can tell us Leon the professional meets. I always suggest people don't do this, but we're doing it for the sake of expediency here.
Okay.
Because it sort of fixes us into genre. This okay. I think we've done enough on that one, so I'm going to stop the timer. That's cool. All right, so we got Time to Collect. Death is just the beginning, or Death is unbecoming. So let's go back up here. We have, I think, of Time, Gentlemen. Time to Collect.
Right, that's not bad. I mean, the tagline is the thing that goes on the poster, right?
Yeah.
So it should be Death just got an intern.
Okay. Oh, you got the birds chirping back there. That sounds very nice. Things are alive in your part of the world.
They are.
Okay.
They are.
So let's see how we're doing for time. We've done 40 minutes. We're a little behind schedule, but let's see. We've had a good a good 40 minutes. All right. So here's our first one.
Okay.
This is ironic in a way, because where I live now, I do see people in robotic firms sometimes walking the robot. There was this guy last year who had his robot on a leash, and the robot had legs, and it was walking down the street, and he was holding the leash and basically guiding it because they were doing an experiment for home delivery. So this is coming to us coming to a city near you. So it looks like a domestic, or maybe it's shopping for itself. I don't know.
Or it's an alcoholic. Or an oilaholic.
It just went to the 76 station, yes, and it got juiced up. Got some fuel refueled on the way to and from the shop. that could be your new boss. Just a little R&R. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one is sort of in a similar vein, but not quite. This is another kind of fear that Hal has taken over the ship. Maybe they're just sleeping, just arranging them because they're tired and they need some napping. And
yeah, that's yeah.
He's just arranging them.
It could be protecting them against something.
Yeah, protector.
But I think it's more because they don't look chopped up, which you imagine it would have done with its chopping up.
Yeah.
Hand pincers.
Yeah. This these images in a way sort of have that tension of this is like a dog that like a Rottweiler that could be your friend or it could be your foe, and it has a utility, but we've created a monster possibly that's all that stuff together. But I wonder, is there something else about robots that we haven't really plumbed the depths of? We sort of consider them. What's that?
Yeah, please. No, go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm just trying to think. Is there a different analogy? I mean, in the future, if they continue to evolve, most likely they'll be gods, and we'll be. It's a bit like the day the Earth stood still, where they're this sort of malevolent, benevolent that polices us, or they are a reflection of ourselves somehow. Okay, well, I have to get
go. So here's the thing: we'll either, you're quite right. We'll either have to accept that they're gods, or we'll have to neuter them. So
neuter the god,
in a sense.
There we go.
Yes,
that's our first title.
Well, neutering or lobotomizing, because neutering implies they can't breed, which they can't anyway, unless that's a specific thing we're going to lock out. But it's more like lobotomizing God, right? It's you would take out a chunk of their brain so that we can supposedly maintain superiority over them. There would have to be a way to lock them in, a behavioral inhibitor, as it were. So then, of course, the question is, well, why don't you apply those to people?
Well, these actually do remind me of people. Right now, you have the people that are following. There's compliance because they're following what they're being told to do in this crisis, and they're the people that have gone rogue and are all guns a-blazing and don't take away my freedoms. So you've got
how about this? So as a shortcut to the future, we can't leave our homes now because there are so many viruses, so many foul things out in the atmosphere. We've destroyed the earth, pollution, all this sort of stuff. So we remain in our homes and we only go out with robotic drones that we control through VR or bodysuits or something similar to that. This would fit very much with the top one. Because is that a normal person standing in the background under the 76 sign? Or is that another robot?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, you were sharp eyes. It could be another robot that just got clothes on. This one's going, au naturel.
Yeah. So, I just wonder, so what we're watching are these stumbling drones around, which are actually people, but they're controlling them.
Oh, I see.
That's how our social interactions now take place.
So this is remote living or remote viewing.
Yeah.
Remote control.
And that's how you do your love life. That's how you do this, because we can't meet anyone else because we have so many diseases out there.
Okay, so I like that idea. Diseases, remote. What can we do with this? I don't want to get off it just yet. It's like
what I like. No. Because what I like is the philosophical idea of that we are just meat drones sent out and seeing the world through the prism of these bodies that we have. Prism and prison of these bodies that we have that limit what we can see or feel or do or this. And here we are now in these machines that can obviously feel, see, do it probably less than we normally can.
Trying to think of
but we're still going out because we have to shop or we have to do this or we have to do that because they couldn't shut down shops because shops are what we need.
I can't figure out the word, but I was trying to go with remote living or something that's sort of clever, that encapsulated this idea that we are in the little capsule pulling the levers, and these sort of like a virtual experience. Okay, so gosh, we have Man in the High Castle. Oh, that's been taken. Remote control. I'm trying to think of something funny with remote control.
Yes.
It's not just about remote manipulation, remote minder.
Drones.
Just drones. Drones. God, it just feels like there's something just out there on the reach, but I can't get at it.
I quite like drones because then again, what would be the ultimate don't do this in this world? It would be to meet another person. So of course, two drone drivers fall in love and decide they have to meet.
I have to pull up let's see, drone definition, etymology. I gotta figure out where this word comes from. Sometimes this is Old English, Dutch, German, drone. Old English, from a male bee. It's from the West Germanic verb meaning resound and boom, B-O-O-M. To roar, to drowse, Interesting. Swedish is drowse. So resound, boom. Let's see what we can do with this. Resound, boom, roar, and drowse. I don't see how those are. That's interesting. This is a strange etymology here. Well, we know about the low continuous humming sound, so it's a sort of continuous musical note of low pitch. So that's kind of interesting because it's like this sort of ominous undercurrent that where we get used to, right? It's like that sound that you get used to, you don't notice anymore, but it's ever persistent, and it's maybe a warning of some kind.
Yes.
So how did that become pilotless aircraft or missile?
Well, I mean, I guess it's from the bee, right? Because drones are worker bees.
All right, so we're going to take this down here. I want to remember this etymology because that's something like. I also want to remember this idea of low warning. Okay, so I'll give ourselves 3 minutes for a tagline here, timer. I can't pull the artwork down, but luckily the artwork is pretty singed in my memory because it's kind of it's a little clearer. So this is about, I guess the tagline has to get at the fact that we can't do anything in person. So it's sort of it's about contactless.
That's nice.
Right? In person is dangerous, right? So yeah, contactless living, like
that's great.
Okay,
that's great. Just contactless.
Okay, all right. So that could be all right, let's go with contactless as our title. So let's see. My drone or yours?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good when drones fall in love, but my drone or yours is funnier. I mean, the problem is we're completely ignoring the bottom one.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't really mind about that.
That's sort of well, that's a little bit of going postal. When drones go postal. The absence of contact, the absence of something like when the human touch becomes deadly, something like that. That sort of evokes the bottom one. There's something that gone berserk.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Actually, berserk is kind of an interesting word to keep in mind. Or berserker. So it's not about remote. So this is going to be for the log line, but it's something about when remote, when the human touch, when human contact, I like the fact that human touch is being used in this context. Drones are the only means of enjoying the outdoors. Enjoying or exploring the outdoors after a
series of deadly plagues.
After a series of deadly plagues. Yes. Okay, I think I'm just going to keep going because we can finish this one and make it a set of 3. Okay. So drones are the only means of exploring the outdoors after a series of deadly plagues. But it's not drones are the only means of connecting with other people. Only means of connecting society. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
After a series of deadly plagues. The absence of human contact. The absence of human results in a loss of humanity. Something like that.
Yep. Or 2 humans struggle against the resultant loss of humanity.
Well, what I'm trying to think of is what I'm trying to get at, obviously, is how So
is the tagline, don't touch.
Don't touch me.
No, just don't touch.
Don't touch, okay. So we have... So what I'm trying to get at is this idea that we believe that by creating these sort of prosthetics, be it a drone or a robot or something to extend ourselves, means that we can continue society without the risk. But what we learn is that the human touch itself is important for humanity. It's almost as if, remember those stories where a child that does not receive enough physical, a baby does not receive enough physical touch, actually develops mental health problems, attachment problems, all sorts of things. So it's as if this is what it very at the core of being human. And when we remove that and think cleverly, we can do things by remote pilot or something. Actually, that gives me another thought about contactless or some kind of pilot, oops, that's not what I want to do. Some sort of pilot concept. Like, I don't know. So I'll go with contactless for the moment because I can't think of what it is. But contactless, don't touch. So contactless, don't touch. And then the log line. Jones the only music playing side for series deadly play. Absence of contact. The absence of contact results in a loss of humanity. Okay. All right. Well, we got 3 done in, let's see, how long did we take? 56 minutes. So that's not too bad, not too shabby.
No. No.
just looking at them now in the last sort of 4 minutes, whether
Mm-hmm.
there's anything else that we think of when we see these again. So the first one is very dark, and I think because the imagery is so dark, it took us in that direction. But we have the secret that binds two people together. I think that's definitely an idea that can play out in many different ways. So we chose the sort of foster parents killing and the secret of a serial killer, subsequent serial killer. But it could just be any kind of secret or stone around your neck that binds you together, and you wish you could break free, but you're conjoined by the secret or this past. So I think that's kind of cool. The second one, we turned a very dark image into sort of a lighthearted, ultimately lighthearted idea. It's dark in its core, but it's sort of questions of life and death and your place and moving between worlds and sort of the Grim Reaper gaining a conscience of a kind. I think that's sort of where the story is
humanizing the Grim Reaper,
innocence of the child and the simplicity with which they see things helps the Grim Reaper to reflect on their role and how perhaps they're being used themselves by the bureaucracy, by the system.
Yeah.
And so that opens their eyes to something new. And then the last one, I really like this idea that we lose touch with our humanity by using all these sort of prosthetics. So I think that one would be fun to continue to probe in other ways.
Yes.
And so I think what I'm going to try to do, now that we've done a few of these and they've led us on this journey, I want to figure out how to bring some of the story message stuff into these jams. And I've deliberately held off because I felt that those were the most difficult to do, but ultimately the most useful in the long term, because what I think we want to do, building towards this, all these different exercises and whatnot, is we want to come up with story messages that we can use many, many times over, because they are so rich in the ways in which they can be expressed. And so I think that last one is approaching a story message of sorts. It's this idea that contact is what makes us human, and that if we create these abstractions of it, we lose our humanity. So I think that's moving towards a story message of sorts, and so I like that, and I'm going to try to build on that, and maybe if I can see if I can get us on a story message jam later this week. So thank you so much for doing this with me, and
my pleasure. Thank you.
Have a great evening, and I'll see you shortly.
You too. Take care.
Bye.